Hi, everybody. Muchas gracias a todos por compartir esta noche con nosotros. Thank you all so much for joining us for this special evening to honor the Cuban engineer. I am Maria Estorino, chair of the Cuban Heritage Collection, and it's my privilege to welcome you to the Roberto C. Goizueta Pavilion, home of the Cuban Heritage Collection. It's fitting that we would host an event like this one to honor the Cuban engineer in the Goizueta Pavilion. Mr. Goizueta is recognized for his business leadership and acumen as chairman and CEO of the Coca-Cola Company from 1981 until his death in 1997, but he began his career in the technical department of the Coca-Cola Company in Cuba as a chemical engineer. And additionally, with funding from the Goizueta Foundation, we here at the Cuban Heritage Collection have supported the Cuban Infrastructure Challenge for the past 3 years in different ways, but most significantly in supporting the participation of some of the University of Miami students in the challenge. So we're especially honored to be sharing this evening with all of you today. During the day, this space that we're in right now is actually a very quiet reading room. It's a space where students and scholars from all over the world carry out research, discovering and exploring the rich treasures that are housed right behind this wall here. We are a library and an archive holding millions of pages of Cuba's history and culture dating back 500 years, but also documenting the Cuban experience of the present, both on the island and in the diaspora. Here you might find everything from a Dutch map of Cuba from the 1500s, to Celia Cruz's shoes, to original scripts for Que Pasa USA, to blogs published by dissidents on the island today. As our name implies, we are interested in Cuba's past, our heritage, but we are equally concerned with the present and the future. The work we do is centered on preservation, but with a clear focus on making these resources that we collect discoverable, putting them in the hands of our students, our faculty, scholars, and the interested researcher. And we do this because we want to allow for the stories that are housed behind this wall to become part of the larger history that we all share. Stories like that of the Cuban engineer. We tell part of that story in the exhibit when you first walk in the exhibit gallery, which looks a little bit at the history of Cuban engineering, both on the island and here in the United States. And we're able to share this history because the documentary evidence of it is preserved and available here in the Cuban Heritage Collection. The exhibit draws on historical resources housed here, but also from documents and publications lent to us by our sponsors. So this is where it's my honor and privilege to take a moment to thank the sponsors, the organizations and the individuals who partnered with us here at the Cuban Heritage Collection to make possible both the event and tonight's celebration. So as I say your name, if you could please join me at the podium, I would really appreciate it. So I extend our deepest gratitude to the Association of Cuban Engineers, especially its president, Dr. Elena Solo Gabriel, and President-elect Pete Martinez. To the Cuban-American Association of Civil Engineers, in particular board members Pedro Giralt, Delfín Molins, and President Victor Pujals. Dean James Tian, who could not be here tonight, of the University of Miami College of Engineering, and Dean Amir Mirmoran of the Florida International University College of Engineering and Computing. Our dean here at the University of Miami Libraries, who also could not be here, but I'd like to thank him for his support, Dean Charles Ekman. And last but never least, the Amigos of the Cuban Heritage Collection, whose president, Aldo Leiva, is here. We also thank Bacardi for their sponsorship. It's not a fun night if Bacardi is not with us. The Institute for Cuban and Cuban-American Studies and the FIU Cuban Research Institute for their support of this event. Dr. Jorge Duani, the director of the Cuban Research Institute, is here, so thank you. And also, I cannot forget the team here at the Cuban Heritage Collection and the libraries, who it really takes a village to make these kinds of evenings and these kind of exhibits possible. So thank you to everyone that makes that possible. And finally, I thank you. Thank you so much for being here tonight and for helping us to honor the Cuban engineers, so many of whom are here in the room today.